Some places on Earth seem like they've leapt straight out of a fantasy novel. Tucked away in stunning corners of the world, these villages blend breathtaking scenery with rich, enduring history. Each one stands as a true work of art, shaped by dramatic landscapes and remarkable architectural style. Some are so remote or built in such extreme spots that they feel almost otherworldly. Today, we're taking you on a visual journey through some of the most beautiful and lesser-known villages across the globe. These are hidden treasures surrounded by nature's magic, and each one has a story to tell. Tucked into the Bay of Kotor, often called Europe's southernmost fjord, Picturesque looks like it was painted by an artist. Set along a narrow shoreline with towering mountains behind it and calm, deep blue waters in front, it's a place where time seems to pause. Between the 1400s and 1700s, Picturesque was under Venetian rule, and their legacy lives on through its elegant stone palaces, centuries-old churches, and graceful bell towers. At its height, the village had 12 grand homes built by wealthy sea captains and merchants. Just offshore, you'll spot two small islands. One, called Our Lady of the Rocks, was man-made by sinking ships and dropping stones to form a foundation. It now holds a charming church. The other, St. George Island, is natural, home to a monastery and a private cemetery that's closed to the public. On the western edge of Italy's Amalfi Coast, near the Sorrento Peninsula, sits the dramatic cliffside village of Positano, gazing out over the Tyrrhenian Sea. Legend has it that a ship carrying a sacred painting of the Virgin Mary ran aground nearby. From the waves, a voice cried, "Posa, posa," meaning "stop here" in Old Italian, inspiring the town's name. With its romantic charm and postcard-perfect views, Positano has become a beloved destination for honeymooners and couples. A winding footpath zigzags down the steep hillside, connecting the upper village to the sun-soaked beaches below. In the southern reaches of Norway's Lofoten Islands, you'll find the twin fishing villages of Hamney and Rain, both steeped in history and surrounded by nature's raw beauty. Hamney is one of the archipelago's oldest settlements and was once accessible only by sea. Nearby, Rain captivates with its classic red cabins perched along a quiet pier. Backdropped by dramatic mountains and fjords, it's no wonder this village has become a symbol of Norway itself. Above it rises Reinebringen, a towering peak reached by a stone staircase, built by skilled Sherpas using time-honored Himalayan techniques. Though the hike is relatively short, the steep climb makes it a thrilling challenge. Perched high above the Lauterbrunnen Valley, Møren delivers jaw-dropping views of the surrounding peaks and cliffs. This alpine gem is accessible only by cable car or mountain railway, adding to its secluded charm. Here, nature meets tradition, with wooden homes, sloped rooftops built to endure snowstorms, and quiet footpaths that make every walk feel like a scenic adventure. It's a peaceful haven where time slows down, and the mountains seem close enough to touch. Nicknamed the Switzerland of America, Ouray lies hidden in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado, a sub-range of the mighty Rockies. Its steep peaks and lush valleys bear a striking resemblance to the Swiss Alps. Meltwater from the mountains feeds a network of rivers and cascades, including Bear Creek, which tumbles dramatically over rocky cliffs just outside town. With its blend of rugged terrain and alpine charm, Ouray offers a true taste of mountain magic on American soil. Nestled between lush rainforests and the sea on Brazil's green coast, Paradis is a colonial gem frozen in time. Its old town with whitewashed buildings and cobbled streets made from rugged stones known as Pé de Malik harks back to the early 1600s when Portuguese settlers established it. During high tides, the ocean flows gently into some of its low-lying streets, a natural phenomenon that helps rinse the roads and adds a unique charm to the town's character. Tucked away on the Amalfi Coast, Atrani is one of Italy's tiniest villages and arguably among its most charming. Situated where the Dragone Valley meets the sea, the village is stacked vertically along the mountainside, with staircases and walkways connecting layers of whitewashed homes. At the heart of the village, perched on a scenic terrace overlooking the water, sits the Church of Santa Maria Maddalena, a beloved local landmark that stands guard over this peaceful coastal haven. Clinging to the steep slopes of Monte Bria along the shores of Lake Lugano, Endria is a quiet Swiss village with a timeless feel. It once served as a key passage for travelers moving between Italy and Switzerland, and its historic core remains full of charm. Narrow alleyways twist between old stone homes, some of which date back to the 1700s. The village spills right down to the water's edge, where reflections of the mountains shimmer on the lake's surface. Kora is the heart of Mykonos and the island's main town, Kora being a traditional name for island capitals throughout the Aegean. This iconic destination is a labyrinth of narrow stone streets lined with whitewashed homes, made even more vivid by pops of color on doors, shutters, and balconies. A particularly enchanting spot is Little Venice, a seaside district where homes are built right at the water's edge. Historians believe Venetian traders constructed these buildings in the 1700s, using the lower floors as storage for goods coming in from the sea. Once designated a Pueblo Mágico and now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, San Miguel de Allende holds a special place in Mexican history. It was the birthplace of Ignacio Allende, a key figure in the country's war for independence. The town is renowned for its stunning colonial architecture, where Baroque and neoclassical styles blend harmoniously. Its most iconic structure, the pink-hued parish of San Miguel Arcangel, is a reinterpretation of Gothic cathedrals, unlike anything else in Mexico. Alberobello is famous for its whimsical homes known as truly small, round or square dwellings topped with conical roofs made of stacked stone, built without mortar. These unique structures are a masterpiece of traditional craftsmanship. One intriguing theory suggests they were designed to be easily dismantled, helping locals avoid taxes from the Kingdom of Naples by quickly taking down their homes when needed. Set high above the dramatic El Tajo Gorge, Ronda is split in two, with the old Moorish quarter on one side and the newer, post-medieval area on the other. Between them stands the Puente Nuevo, or New Bridge, a massive stone structure completed in the late 18th century after earlier attempts failed. During the 1700s and 1800s, aristocrats and clergy transformed the town with ornate churches and mansions. The rugged landscape later became a romantic refuge for bandits and riders, shaping legends of a wild Andalusian frontier. Spies lies along the shores of Lake Thun, framed by terraced vineyards and crowned by a historic castle dating back over 1,000 years. Unlike many alpine towns, Spies has a thriving wine culture thanks to its favorable microclimate and grape-growing traditions. Towering in the background is Mount Nissen, often called Switzerland's pyramid for its triangular silhouette. Clinging to limestone cliffs above the Alzou River, Rocamadour looks like a medieval dream frozen in stone. Its layout unfolds in layers, chapels, homes, and narrow streets stacked like shelves up the cliff face. During the Middle Ages, it was one of Europe's most visited pilgrimage sites, attracting worshippers hoping for miracles from the Black Madonna housed in the sanctuary. Nicknamed the town of 44 churches, Maratea is dotted with religious sanctuaries, from cliffside chapels to hidden hermitages. Isolated for much of its history, it preserved a strong rural and seafaring culture well into the modern age. Above it all, the 20-meter-tall statue of Christ the Redeemer watches over the village, sculpted in 1965 by Bruno Innocenti, a spiritual beacon atop the mountain. Often called one of the most beautiful villages in Switzerland, Morcodi sits peacefully on the edge of Lake Lugano, known historically as Ceresio. The lakeside homes, arcades, and narrow stone alleys evoke a timeless charm. With its lush gardens, historic churches, and scenic views, Morcodi blends nature and culture into a perfect lakeside escape. Rising gracefully from the shore of Lake Lugano, Morcodi is a hillside village where cobbled paths and stone stairways climb toward a centuries-old church. During the Renaissance, its closeness to Lombardy brought in artists and traders, enriching its cultural fabric. Thanks to its southern location and lakeside setting, Morcodi enjoys a mild microclimate, where palms and Mediterranean flora thrive in the alpine environment. Perched on a granite hilltop, Monsanto appears sculpted directly from the earth. Here, homes aren't just built beside giant boulders, they're built around them. Some of the rocks act as walls, while others sit atop buildings like natural roofs. Its winding stone lanes and dramatic topography have earned it the title of Portugal's most Portuguese village. tucked into a fjord-like bay and enclosed by towering mountains, Kotor is a fortress town steeped in history. Its well-preserved walls and stone alleys reflect centuries of Roman, Byzantine, and Venetian influence. During the medieval era, Kotor rose as a vital port for trade and defense. Today, its labyrinth of plazas, old churches, and Venetian palaces tells the story of a once powerful maritime stronghold. A tranquil gem on the shores of Lake Breens, Iseltwald is known for its wooden chalets, alpine surroundings, and mirror-like waters. Once a quiet fishing village, it now charms visitors with its fairy tale beauty. At the tip of a narrow peninsula stands a historic 19th century villa, adding to the village's romantic feel. The lake's vivid turquoise comes from glacial minerals that color the water a luminous blue-green. Along the coast of Kyoto Prefecture lies Inn, a centuries-old fishing village famous for its unique funaya, wooden boathouses that line the water's edge. Due to the narrow strip of land between mountain and sea, residents built their homes on stilts directly over the water. Each funaya has a lower level for storing boats and gear, with living quarters above. It's a remarkable example of adapting architecture to geography. A village with no roads? Welcome to Giethoorn, dubbed the Venice of the Netherlands. Instead of cars, residents glide through canals and whisper quiet boats. Thatched roof homes sit on islands linked by wooden footbridges. It's a place where water replaces asphalt and serenity replaces noise. Set on a grassy ledge in the Lauterbrunnen Valley, Gimmelwald is a peaceful mountain village with a breathtaking backdrop of the Eiger, Manch, and Jungfrau peaks. Here, houses aren't laid out in neat rows, they're scattered naturally across the slope. The village maintains its pastoral roots, mixing homes with barns and alpine huts used for herding livestock. End of a deep fjord flanked by towering cliffs and waterfalls lies Geiranger, a jewel of Norway's rugged west coast. For generations, families carved out farms along its impossibly steep slopes. Many of these farms are now deserted, abandoned when life in such isolation became too harsh. Today, Geiranger draws travelers seeking dramatic landscapes, peace, and a glimpse into Norway's resilient past. Geiranger sits at the end of a dramatic fjord, encircled by towering cliffs and plunging waterfalls. Once a vital stop for ships navigating Norway's fjords, it rose in popularity during the 20th century when steamships began bringing curious travelers from afar. Today, it's known for the iconic Seven Sisters and the Suder waterfalls that cascade from the heights above, drawing visitors to this breathtaking corner of western Norway. On the banks of the Vltava River lies Český Krumlov, a town of fairy tale beauty. Old Town is a maze of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture, embellished with frescoes and ornate details. At its heart is Svornosti Square, once the center of guild and civic life. Looming above is the second largest castle complex in the country, second only to Prague's, offering sweeping views of the red-roofed village below. Tucked in the Bavona Valley in Ticino, Faraglio is a hamlet defined by rugged scenery and rustic charm. A dramatic waterfall crashes down from the cliffs, fed by the Kelnigia River. Stone homes with slate roofs in the village designed to endure the alpine climate. Nearby Sinagno, another untouched settlement, complements the region's deep connection to nature and tradition. Feng Wang, or Phoenix Town, is a historic village in Hunan province shaped by the diverse cultures of local ethnic groups. The Tuo River runs through its center, lined by wooden stilt houses and stone bridges. Legend tells of a guardian spirit in the river, once believed to protect the village. Feng Wang streets still echo with stories of ancient customs and resilience. Off the coast of the Peloponnese, Monemvasia sits hidden behind sheer rock walls. Originally separated from the mainland by sea, it was a natural fortress during the Byzantine and medieval periods. Within its stone ramparts, a maze of narrow alleys and historic homes still stands, preserved like a living museum of Greek fortification and architecture. On Gotland Island in the Baltic Sea, Visby preserves one of Europe's best surviving medieval city walls. Once a Viking outpost, it rose to prominence in the 12th century as a bustling trading center. Stone towers, gatehouses, and ruins tell of a time when Visby was a prized stronghold. Today, it stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, frozen in a golden age of Northern European history. On the shores of Lake Wolfgang, St. Gilgen is a serene lakeside town backed by the Austrian Alps. Early life revolved around fishing and forestry, but in the late 1800s, aristocrats from Vienna and beyond began building summer villas here. Today, a cable car leads to Zwolferhorn Peak, revealing panoramic alpine vistas once enjoyed by royals. Cradled by forested mountains in Turkey's Black Sea region, Uzungul is known for its misty lake and cooler climate. The lake itself formed centuries ago when a landslide blocked the Haldesen River, creating a natural basin. Wooden lodges and minarets, the shoreline giving the area a peaceful alpine meets eastern charm. On the southwest coast of St. Lucia, Soufriere offers vibrant colors, volcanic origins, and Caribbean charm. Founded during French colonization, it was named for nearby sulfur springs. The town blends colonial architecture with tropical flair, and from almost every corner, the towering Piton peaks rise dramatically against the skyline. Monschau, tucked in Germany's Eifel region, charms with its timber-framed homes and narrow cobbled streets. It flourished in the 17th and 18th centuries thanks to a booming textile trade. Today, its old mills, riverside paths, and hillside castle make it a favorite for lovers of history and heritage. High above Lake Whalen, Amden is a quiet alpine retreat known for sweeping views and crashing waterfalls. The Sierenbach Falls near the hamlet of Betlis tumble over 600 meters, making them some of Europe's highest. Cable cars and mountain roads now make this once isolated spot accessible for hikers and dreamers. Dominated by a commanding fortress perched on a rocky hill, Aarberg overlooks the winding Air River. The town's traditional Swiss-German architecture shines through its charming facades, reflecting a rich history shaped by both nature and fortification. Founded in the 16th century, this beautifully maintained colonial town served as the capital of Antioquia province until 1826. Strict preservation laws ensure new buildings respect its historic style. Nearby, the iconic Puente de Ochagini Bridge once ranked among Latin America's longest suspension bridges. On the steep shores of Lake Como, Nesso stretches across hillsides dotted with forests, vineyards, and olive groves. The village's centerpiece is the Church of Saints Peter and Paul. A striking stone bridge arches over a deep ravine, connecting houses that cling close to the lake's edge. Rio Maggiore is the easternmost Cinque Terre village, featuring a small marina shelter within a cozy cove. Traditional homes include fondi, spaces used as fishing gear storage or wine cellars, with living quarters above. Connected by rail and seasonal ferries, Rio Maggiore bustles with local charm and maritime life. Varenna rests on Lake Como's eastern shore amid Lombardy's scenic splendor. Ferries link it to other lakeside towns, while visitors arrive by train to stroll its peaceful streets. Once a favored retreat for painters and writers, Varenna's serene atmosphere and historic charm remain a magnet for inspiration. Ciervo's historic heart crowns a hill that rises above the Ligurian coastline. Its stunning Baroque church, built with funds from coral fishing, commands views of the sea below. Small coves and beaches, some sandy, others pebbled, dot the shoreline, inviting quiet moments by the water. This serene Umbrian village lies on the gentle slopes of the Apennines. Its medieval center, laced with narrow alleys and heritage buildings, remains well preserved. Nearby, the Topino River nourishes fertile land and local greenery, anchoring Nocera Umbra in a timeless rural rhythm. Polignano, a mare clings to limestone cliffs that drop dramatically into the Adriatic Sea. Its sea caves and grottos, shaped by centuries of waves, are best explored by boat. Whitewashed houses appear to hover over the abyss, while Lama Monachile Beach, tucked between cliffs, is a hidden jewel accessible from the old town. Nestled beneath Mont Blanc, Chamonix is the birthplace of modern mountaineering. The first ascent of Europe's highest peak in 1786 sparked a climbing legacy that still thrives today. In winter, it becomes a snowy playground. In summer, a base for alpine adventurers. Aiguille-du Midi cable car lifts visitors into the sky for panoramic views of the Alps. Egesheim's medieval heart is a perfect circle, with cobblestone lanes spiraling around its center like a snail shell. Its colorful half-timbered houses rise 2 or 3 stories, often adorned with flower boxes. High above, storks return each year to nest atop church steeples and dedicated poles, a living symbol of Alsatian tradition. Set along the Alsace wine route, Kaisersberg is nestled among green hills and rows of vineyards. Winding cobbled streets lead to a lively central square, and above it all, a medieval castle watches over the town. Built by feudal lords of the Holy Roman Empire, it speaks to the region's rich and layered history. Once a fortress guarding trade routes from Provence to the sea, St. Paul de Vence became a sanctuary for artists and dreamers. In the 1500s, King Francis I fortified the town with stone walls, which still encircle it today. 20th century masters like Chagall and Matisse wandered its narrow lanes, inspired by the light and calm of the Riviera. Hidden within a dramatic canyon carved by the Ebro River, Orbanea del Castillo is surrounded by limestone formations and tumbling waterfalls. Its medieval roots lie in the need for protection, with homes and streets adapted to the rugged terrain. The spring-fed water, crystal clear and tinted with emerald and turquoise, flows through the heart of the village. Dramatically perched on a narrow basalt cliff, Castelfala del Rocco was forged by lava flows thousands of years ago. The sheer drop on either side gave it natural defenses, making it an ideal medieval settlement. Its compact village, anchored by a church and castle ruins, seems suspended between land and sky. Fishing village nestled on Spain's northern coast, Cutiero curls around the steep, amphitheater-shaped valley. Colorful homes climb the slopes, each one facing the Cantabrian Sea. Though now a beloved stop for travelers, its heart still beats with the rhythms of the sea. Boats come and go, and fishermen haul in their daily catch. Set along the rocky coast of Cap de Cruz, Cadax was once a quiet fishing village at Europe's eastern edge. It later became a magnet for artists. Dali, Picasso, and Miro all passed through. Whitewashed homes, winding alleys, and Latin American-inspired villas built by returning emigres give it a cosmopolitan yet timeless feel. High in Mallorca's Tramuntana Mountains, Valdemasa is framed by oak and pine forests. Its stone buildings center around a charter house, a former monastery that hosted Chopin and George Sand during a famously damp and difficult winter. Despite their disappointment, the village's cool air and serene beauty continue to enchant visitors. Coast of Vagar Island, San Davigar is a fishing village framed by moss-covered peaks and plunging cliffs. The landscape is wild and wind-swept, shaped by centuries of Atlantic storms. Just nearby, Servagsvatn Lake creates an optical illusion, appearing to hover above the sea when it's really perched on a cliff's edge. Picturesque lies at the base of the towering meteor cliffs, in the shadow of rock spires that seem to reach for the heavens. This village in northwestern Thessaly is deeply tied to monastic history. Its nearby clifftop monasteries were once sanctuaries for those seeking spiritual elevation as much as physical protection. Located in the Gosau Valley, with the Daxton Mountains as its dramatic backdrop. The first settlers arrived when farmers and herders came to raise livestock and tend to alpine meadows. During the warmer months, herders lead their animals to high pastures, and in autumn, festive transhumance events celebrate the return of flower-adorned cattle. Surrounded by mountains, this village sits at the end of a bay facing the North Atlantic. Its origins trace back to the Viking and Norse settlement in the Faroe Islands during the 9th and 10th centuries. Traditional houses are built of dark or red-painted wood, some topped with grass-covered roofs. Perched in the high Andes, within the province of Salta, it's surrounded by hills and ravines belonging to the Sierra de Santa Victoria. The terrain is rugged with steep, winding streets climbing and descending sharply. Located between Lake Thun to the west and Lake Breens to the east, its name means between lakes. The Air River flows through the town, linking the two bodies of water. Composer Felix Mendelssohn visited the area, drawing inspiration from its scenery. Travel writings from that era reflected strong appeal to artists. At its heart, the town has boulevards lined with hotels and shops in classic Swiss style. Spread across a rocky bluff that juts into the sea, the town is fortified with stone houses and ancient walls. Its proximity to Albania brings a distinctive multicultural atmosphere. For centuries, it was ruled by the Ottoman Empire, which left a visible mark on its architecture through Oriental design elements. This humble village is tucked within the state of Meghalaya. Heavy rainfall sustains its lush greenery, filled with evergreen forests and a wide range of tropical plants. Seasonal downpours peak from June to August, driven by the monsoon sweeping up from the Bay of Bengal. In this northeastern region of India, living root bridges stand out. Crafted from rubber trees, their roots are carefully guided and woven over time. Known for its aquatic landscape, with homes lined up along dikes and yacht marinas. In medieval times, the region was a major source of peat used as fuel. The long, narrow islands were formed in the 17th century through the excavation of tight canals to extract peat. Perched on the slopes of Mount Merapi in central Java, homes reflect traditional Javanese architecture, featuring gabled roofs and wooden details. Volcanic ash enriches the land, supporting the intensive farming of vegetables, maize, tubers, and coffee. It sits along the Moselle River, overlooked by a majestic hilltop castle. While medieval in origin, the current structure dates back to the 19th century. Tiered vineyards blanket the hillsides, forming a patchwork of greens and golds. The riverside promenade is lined with homes and buildings facing the water. Limestone cliffs rise dramatically around this village. What began as a quiet settlement evolved into a hotspot for backpackers. The cliffs stand out not only for their beauty, but also for their archaeological and historical importance. On the island of Milos, part of Greece's Cyclades chain, lies a tiny fishing village called Mandrakia. It's small, just a handful of narrow streets and colorful seaside homes, but full of character. What makes Mandrakia unique are the surmadas, small boat garages carved right into the cliffs or built at their base. These traditional shelters store fishing tools and boats, blending function with beauty in a way that's purely Cycladic. According to local tradition, each family painted their surma, those unique boat garages, in a different color so they could spot them easily from the sea. Not far from Mandrakia is the quaint village of Klima, tucked along a sheltered bay. Here, colorful homes line a quiet coastal path, and calm, crystal-clear waters lap gently at the shore. Often called one of the world's most awe-inspiring villages, Lauterbrunnen sits in a valley known for its waterfalls, all 72 of them. These cascades pour down from high cliffs, fueled by melting snow and spring rains. The sight becomes even more dazzling in warmer months, when nature is in full bloom. The village's stunning beauty once captivated a young J.R.R. Tolkien, who later used it as a model for Rivendell in The Lord of the Rings. Despite drawing tourists from around the world, Lauterbrunnen has held on to its authentic Swiss charm. Picture traditional wooden chalets, flower-filled balconies, and the gentle clang of cowbells echoing across green meadows. Set deep in the Grindelwald Valley, this alpine village is framed by sky-high mountain peaks. Though it was first documented in the 12th century, Grindelwald only gained wider fame during the 1800s as mountaineering took off across Europe. Surrounded by rolling green fields, evergreen forests, and sheer cliffs, Grindelwald offers a tranquil escape. Its classic dark wood chalets exude warmth and coziness. In summer, cows graze freely in nearby pastures, adding to the peaceful rural vibe. Just outside the village, a cable car glides upward toward panoramic lookouts and mountain adventure zones. One of the most popular destinations nearby is Grindelwald First, a must-visit for hikers and nature lovers. Primasen traces its roots back to the medieval era, when coastal communities sought refuge from Ottoman attacks. Originally built on a small island, it was once connected to the mainland by a drawbridge, a clever defensive design that protected its people. Today, Primasen enchants visitors with peaceful coves, dense pine forests, and narrow cobbled streets that hint at centuries of history and resilience. Perched on the volcanic cliffs of Santorini, OIA is instantly recognizable for its whitewashed buildings topped with striking blue domes. The journey there starts from a moody bay where a staircase winds upward through rock and sky. Once a humble fishing village, OIA has transformed into a sought-after destination prized for its spectacular sunset views and cliffside charm. Wander through its narrow alleyways, and you'll find cozy shops, quiet courtyards, and views that stretch endlessly across the Aegean Sea. It's a place that feels like a living postcard, full of peace, color, and beauty. In the heart of the Venetian lagoon, Murano shines like a gem with its radiant, candy-colored homes. Though small in size, this island village overflows with character. Narrow canals weave between buildings painted in every shade imaginable, creating a joyful storybook feel. Originally a fishing community, Murano's bright facades helped returning sailors identify their homes through fog and mist. Today, the vibrant village is also known for its centuries-old lace-making tradition, a craft that's still practiced by locals and cherished by visitors. Famed for its network of brackish canals and eye-catching houses painted in bold colors, Murano is a vibrant splash of life in the Venetian lagoon. The vivid facades once helped fishermen identify their homes through thick morning fog. The island thrived for generations as part of Venice's vast trading empire. A standout feature of the village is the tilted bell tower of the Church of San Martino, an architectural quirk often compared to a miniature leaning tower of Pisa. Sentinel de las Bodegas is unlike any village in Spain. Carved into the limestone cliffs of Andalusia, many of its homes are literally built beneath enormous slabs of rock. Shaped over thousands of years by the Trejo River, the narrow gorge gave rise to this surreal and picturesque settlement. These rock-covered homes provide natural insulation, keeping interiors pleasantly cool during hot summers and warm in the colder months. It's a breathtaking blend of human ingenuity and geological wonder. Set on the northern edge of Lake Garda, framed by towering mountains. Its architecture blends medieval and Venetian styles. Notable landmarks include the Rocca, a moated castle, and the Appanali Tower in the main square. Spread across a chain of rocky islets in the Lofoten archipelago, Henningsvær is a traditional fishing village with a dramatic setting. Accessible only by boat or via narrow bridges, it has long been a center for cod fishing, especially during the icy winter months when large schools migrate into the nearby waters. The village's red, yellow, and white buildings pop brightly against the rugged landscape. One of its most surprising sights, a full-size soccer field built atop a rocky plateau, surrounded entirely by the sea. Tucked deep within the Caucasus Mountains, Ujguli is among Europe's highest year-round settlements. Rather than one single village, it's a cluster of small medieval hamlets where time seems to stand still. Long isolated due to harsh winters and rugged landscapes, these communities now offer rural homestays for adventurers. Towering above them are ancient stone fortresses called koshki, built between the 9th and 13th centuries to defend against enemies and natural threats alike. In the heart of the Dolomites, Santa Maddalena unfolds like a painting, all green meadows and dramatic peaks. Located in South Tyrol's Val di Funes, this alpine village is framed by jagged mountains and wide-open pastures. The village church, sitting gracefully in the valley, is a popular subject for photographers. Its simple silhouette set against the towering Geisler peaks creates one of the most iconic landscapes in all of northern Italy. The village owes its name to the Church of St. Mary Magdalene. According to local legend, an image of the saint mysteriously kept reappearing at the current church site, a sign interpreted by villagers as divine guidance. Eventually, they built the church where the image had appeared. Perched like a watchful eagle high above the French Riviera, Sea offers sweeping views of the Mediterranean, stretching as far as Nice and Monaco. With its dramatic clifftop location, it earned the nickname Eagle's Nest. Throughout the centuries, Sea changed hands among feudal rulers, including the House of Savoy. Today, its old quarter invites visitors to wander through narrow lanes, arched passageways, and stone staircases that feel straight out of a medieval tale. Tucked away in the Verzasca Valley in southern Switzerland, La Vertezzo blends natural beauty with rustic charm. Its stone bridge, nicknamed the Jump Bridge, was partially destroyed in the 1800s and rebuilt in the 20th century. Adventurous swimmers now leap from its arches into the crystal clear, jade-colored waters of the Verzasca River. At the village's center stands the Church of Our Lady of the Angels, adding to the peaceful alpine scene. A vibrant fishing village on Malta's southeastern coast, Arsaxloch is best known for its lively harbor filled with lutzes, brightly painted fishing boats often adorned with protective eyes on their prows. These colorful vessels are a nod to Malta's maritime heritage and folklore. The village also hosts one of the island's most famous seafood markets, where fresh catches and local culture come together in a feast for the senses. The bows of the traditional lutzes are often adorned with painted eyes, symbols linked to ancient Phoenician and Egyptian beliefs. These eyes of Osiris, or eyes of Horus, were thought to protect sailors from misfortune at sea. This picturesque village is nestled within the Lavaux wine region, where centuries-old vineyards cascade toward Lake Geneva. Stone houses and wine cellars hint at a past deeply tied to monastic traditions and viticulture. St. Saphirin grew over time thanks to its fertile soil, mild climate, and proximity to trade routes, making it a jewel among Switzerland's wine-producing locales. Famous for its striking blue hues, Chefchaouen blends Berber, Arab, and Andalusian influences into a single magical setting. After the fall of Granada, many Muslim and Jewish refugees fled to this mountainous town, leaving their cultural imprint behind. The Medina, or Old Town, winds along the slopes with stair-stepped alleys and sloped passageways. The town's blue palette is believed to have originated with Sephardic Jews as a symbol of the heavens and the divine. Others say it helps deter insects or keeps buildings cool under the Moroccan sun. Positioned along a scenic stretch of the Danube, Dürnstein is surrounded by lush vineyards and steep wooded hills. Its hilltop fortress once held a royal prisoner, King Richard the Lionheart of England, captured during the Crusades. The region's unique climate and mineral-rich soil make it ideal for cultivating grapes, especially for the region's acclaimed white wines. Hidden on the island of La Palma, Ports de Candelaria is a tiny fishing outpost tucked inside a massive sea cave. The homes, built into the rock, were designed to withstand storms and high tides, offering protection from the Atlantic's power. According to local stories, this natural shelter once provided refuge from pirate attacks, making it a secretive haven for coastal residents. Often called the City of Water, Gujo Hachiman lies in a serene valley where 3 rivers meet. The centuries-old canal system carries pure mountain water throughout the town, so clean, in fact, that koi fish swim freely through its streams. The village grew around Gujo Hachiman Castle, constructed in the 1500s. Edo-era homes with wooden exteriors and curved tile roofs give the town its timeless charm. A living postcard from the Middle Ages, Rothenburg is one of Germany's most meticulously preserved medieval towns. Much of its 14th century defensive wall remains intact, surrounding a town that has barely changed over the centuries. Colorful half-timbered houses line its cobblestone streets, and the tall town hall tower still dominates the skyline, once a proud symbol of its role in the Holy Roman Empire. Located on the slopes of Mount Summit, Nepal Van Java resembles Himalayan villages with its terraced layout. Homes are stacked across the green hills, surrounded by crops and misty peaks. Though small, the village is vibrant, largely Muslim, with traditions shaped by generations of mountain farming. Its scenic beauty has recently brought in travelers looking for a glimpse of rural life in central Java. Located along Norway's southern coast, Prager is often called the Pearl of the Coast. It's part of a vast archipelago made up of nearly 500 islands, islets, and rocky reefs. Since the 1600s, the town has served as a major timber exporting hub, shipping wood across Europe. Its quaint wooden homes, some centuries old, are now protected for their cultural and architectural value. Nestled where Lake Como splits into 2 branches, Bellagio is often referred to as the Pearl of the Lake. In medieval times, noble families ruled the area, which later became a playground for European aristocrats. By the 1800s, its lush setting inspired the construction of lavish villas with manicured gardens, offering breathtaking views of the lake and Alps. Zermatt rests beneath the majestic peak of the Matterhorn, one of the most iconic mountains in the Alps. Though its origins lie in agriculture, the village shot to fame in the 1800s as British climbers came to conquer its rugged terrain. Today, it's a world-class ski resort, car-free, eco-conscious, and packed with chalets, boutiques, and panoramic views. Whether blanketed in snow or basking in summer sun, Zermatt is a magnet for adventurers and alpine dreamers alike. Perched in the mountains of eastern Spain, Albarracin captivates with its rust-colored rooftops and medieval walls. Once an Islamic stronghold, it became a frontier town after the Christian reconquest. The village's winding alleys lead to the Torre del Andador, a lookout tower that once guarded the surrounding lands. With its cliffside setting and fortress-like feel, Albarracin is often named one of the most beautiful villages in Spain. In the heart of Alberta's Rockies lies Banff, a town embraced by glacier-carved valleys and snow-draped peaks. Its transformation began in the late 1800s after the discovery of hot springs. To attract affluent travelers, the Canadian Pacific Railway developed grand hotels, turning Banff into a luxurious alpine retreat. Its high-altitude climate delivers long, snowy seasons, perfect for skiing well into spring. Resting along a gentle bend of the Moselle River, Beilstein has earned the nickname Sleeping Beauty of the Moselle. With cobbled lanes, ivy-covered buildings, and fairytale ambience, it has been the backdrop for historical films. Above the town sit the ruins of Metternich Castle, keeping silent watch over the vineyards and river below. Nestled in a remote mountain valley, Shirakawa-go offers a rare glimpse of Japan's rural past. Heavy snowfall and rugged terrain kept the village isolated for generations. Its signature houses, called Gasho-zukuri, have steep thatched roofs shaped like praying hands, designed to withstand the weight of winter snow. These centuries-old structures preserve a way of life now nearly vanished. Surrounded by steep fjord walls in eastern Iceland, Seyðisfjörður remained secluded until a mountain road was built. Its modern history began when Norwegian fishermen arrived in the late 1800s. Now it serves as the main port for ferries connecting Iceland with Denmark and the Faroe Islands. With its colorful houses and serene setting, Seyðisfjörður feels like a hidden pocket of the North Atlantic. In the heart of the Andes, Barichara is often called Colombia's most beautiful village. With its whitewashed houses and ochre-tiled roofs, it reflects the grace of Spanish colonial design. Set on hilly terrain, its grid-like streets lead to the central plaza and church, long-standing pillars of spiritual and community life. The town's calm atmosphere and scenic views continue to charm visitors and artists alike. On Madeira Island's wild north coast lies Seixal, where lush cliffs plunge into the Atlantic Ocean. The island's volcanic soil and subtropical climate nurtured early settlers and traditional farming practices. Terraced gardens surround the village, and nearby lies a rare black sand beach, one of the few on the island, formed by ancient lava flows. Once an island in the Adriatic Sea, Ravenj is now part of Croatia's Istrian Peninsula, famed for its Venetian-inspired old town. Over the centuries, the narrow canal that separated it from the mainland was filled in. Today, pastel-colored homes hug the rocky shoreline, and steep alleys climb toward the Baroque Basilica of St. Euphemia, which watches over the rooftops from the hilltop. Tucked near the Austrian border, Fussen is a town rich in both natural beauty and musical heritage. In the 15th and 16th centuries, it was Europe's leading center for making lutes and violins. Hohe Schloss, its hilltop castle, served as a bishop's residence for centuries. Just outside the town, you'll find the iconic Neuschwanstein Castle, dreamed up by King Ludwig II and said to have inspired Disney's own fairy tale castles. Tobermory is the colorful main town on Scotland's Isle of Mull, built around a sheltered natural harbor. Its waterfront is lined with bright houses, while steep lanes wind upward into the hills. Local lore claims that a Spanish galleon from the 1588 Armada sank here, said to carry hidden treasure still lost beneath the bay's waters. Located at the southern tip of the Surf Jordan, Otta has long-drawn adventurers and hikers heading to the famed Trolltunga Cliff. In the early 20th century, its waterfalls and rivers powered hydroelectric plants that sparked rapid industrial growth. Today, Otta blends striking nature with echoes of Norway's industrial past. Often called the whale-watching capital of Iceland, Shavik is nestled along Skjaldfondi Bay and has roots tracing back to the first Viking explorers. In earlier times, whaling was key to the local economy. But in recent decades, the town transformed into a hub for marine ecotourism, where visitors now come to glimpse humpbacks, minks, and even blue whales in the chilly northern waters. Painted in blue and white and perched above the Bay of Tunis, City Boo said exudes Mediterranean elegance. It became a haven for artists and intellectuals during the 19th and early 20th centuries, drawing inspiration from its Moorish arches, cobbled streets, and sea views. Even today, it remains a symbol of Tunisian creativity and coastal grace. This riverside village lies in Slovenia's western Soka Valley, known for its emerald waters and mountain scenery. A medieval arched bridge links both sides of the town, while the central square, simple yet historic, features a modest church and town hall. Canal offers a tranquil atmosphere rich with local character and natural beauty. Set in the mountains of Minas Gerais, Tiradentes is a colonial town born from Brazil's 17th century gold rush. Named after a national hero who led the country's earliest independence movement, its cobbled streets and Baroque churches echo the era of Portuguese rule. The town's rich history and artistic heritage make it a cultural gem of inland Brazil. One of Croatia's oldest settlements, Nin is built on a small island connected to the mainland by stone bridges. In the 9th century, it served as the first capital of the Croatian kingdom, where rulers were crowned. The Church of the Holy Cross, a tiny pre-Romanesque chapel, is often dubbed the smallest cathedral in the world. Set beside the Rhine and surrounded by steep vineyards, Bacharach is a postcard-perfect medieval town. Ancient stone walls still encircle its winding streets, and Stalic Castle watches from above. Praised by poet Victor Hugo, Bacharach continues to embody the romantic spirit of the Rhine. Just northeast of Bruges, the village of Damy is surrounded by scenic canals and flat boulders. Once a bustling medieval port, it was Bruges' direct link to the sea via the Dam-Spart Canal. The Schellemalt windmill, built in the 19th century, still stands as a reminder of the region's agricultural roots. Famous as the birthplace of the legendary William Tell, Berglen is a charming village dotted with traditional wooden homes. Flower-filled balconies add bursts of color, creating a cozy alpine atmosphere. Tell's defiance of the Habsburg rulers inspired the Swiss Cantonal Uprising, making Berglen a symbol of Swiss independence. Tucked in Mexico's Sierra Madre Occidental, this colonial town dates back to around 1605. It flourished on silver mining and precious metals, attracting Spanish settlers. When mining faded in the 19th century, the town slowed, seemingly frozen in time with its well-preserved colonial architecture. Perched on a ledge above Lauterbrunnen Valley, Wengen is a car-free village where time seems to slow. Reached by cogwheel train, it was once a cluster of farms before becoming a hub for alpine tourism in the early 1900s. Its chalets and lodges still reflect the elegance of a bygone mountain era, all under the gaze of the Eiger, Manch, and Jungfrau peaks. Set deep in the upper Valamaja, Gaverno nestles within steep gorges and rugged mountain terrain. For generations, its people lived by livestock and farming, preserving the authentic character of Ticino's mountain villages with stone houses and slate roofs that blend naturally with the landscape. Surrounded by rolling vineyards and hills, Dalchakla has long been an artist's muse. Claude Monet famously praised its harmony and light. The medieval stone bridge over the Nervia River is the town's iconic landmark. Above, the ancient fortress once held by the powerful Doria family watches over the village. Flim lies on the Orland Fjord, a branch of Norway's majestic Saga Fjord, inspiring fairy tales with its dramatic fjord landscape. Though home to just a few hundred residents, it attracts thousands during peak seasons. Visitors flock to Stegestein, a viewing platform projecting over the fjord, and ride the Flim Railway, a steep and scenic route through lush valleys and cascading waterfalls. The largest of the 5 Cinque Terre villages, Monterosso al Mare is divided into an old historic quarter and a modern beachfront area. Known for its wide sandy beaches and seaside promenade, it offers easy access from the nearby train station, making it a popular destination for beach lovers. Nestled on Flakstadia Island in the Lofoten archipelago, Nussfjord is one of Norway's oldest fishing villages. Protected by natural fjord walls, its harbor remains sheltered and bustling. Salmon farming pens float in the clear waters, providing fresh oxygen and ideal conditions for raising fish. Clinging between vineyards and cliffs, Vernazza boasts a tiny natural harbor opening to the Ligurian Sea. The village's relative isolation until the 19th century preserved its authentic architecture and culture. Today, its narrow streets and colorful buildings offer a vivid glimpse of coastal Liguria's heritage. Cradled among jagged mountain peaks, Castelmezzano feels sculpted by nature itself. Legend has it the cliffs offered shelter from Saracen invaders, giving rise to the village's dramatic setting. Its stone houses cling to the mountainside, blending seamlessly into the crags. Safal's colorful seaside homes and imposing rocky hill define its picturesque skyline. Occupied by Arabs in the 9th century and later by Normans, who built the cathedral, the town blends history with coastal charm. Narrow sandy beaches meet the Tyrrhenian Sea beneath centuries-old stone houses. Perched on a volcanic cliff, Kolkata seemed suspended in time. Its elevated position provided natural defense, eliminating the need for walls. Once abandoned in the 1930s due to landslide fears, it was rediscovered by artists and bohemians in the 1960s, who revived its mystical charm. Known for its pastel-colored houses and exclusive atmosphere, Portofino's natural semicircular harbor is sheltered by gentle hills. From the 19th century onward, European aristocrats and artists made it a prestigious retreat. Today, its elegant waterfront reflects the timeless allure of the Mediterranean coast. Set against the dramatic Dolomites, Aleg is a lakeside village with postcard-perfect views. Along Lake Aleg, benches and cafes offer peaceful panoramas of Mount Civetta, the wall of walls for climbers. At sunrise and sunset, the cliffs blush pink during the alpenglow, as if the mountains themselves are lit from within. Matera is a city carved from stone. Its famed sassy dwellings were hand-hewn into the rock thousands of years ago. Inhabited continuously for over 9,000 years, these cave homes once symbolized poverty, but have since become icons of cultural rebirth. With its primeval look, Matera often stands in for ancient Jerusalem in films. Tucked near the Spanish border, St. Bede rests in the shadow of the Pyrenees. The Garonne River threads through the village, paralleled by a winding road that follows the valley. Its medieval castle and fortifications once guarded a strategic pass, standing watch over a tranquil landscape shaped by centuries of cross-border passage. Perched on a cliff near the Luberon Mountains, Gorge watches over lavender fields, olive groves, and sun-soaked vineyards. The village's chateau, now serving as town hall, blends medieval and Renaissance elements. Just beyond town, the Senank Abbey emerges like a postcard framed by rows of blooming lavender in midsummer. Turby straddles the heights above the French Riviera, offering breathtaking views of the Mediterranean and glimpses into Monaco. Once a key point along the ancient Roman mid Julia Augusta, the village carries echoes of classical antiquity. It's framed by the maritime Alps, where the mountains begin their gentle descent toward the sea. Cradled between steep cliffs and the Dordogne River, La Roque-Gadjac clings to the rock face in the heart of Nouvelle-Aquitaine. A devastating rockfall in 1957 reshaped much of the village, but a dedicated rebuilding effort restored its charm. Golden stone houses, riverside gardens, and troglodyte dwellings make it one of the region's most picturesque stops. Tucked between two cliffs and bisected by a stream, Mustier Sainte-Marie feels almost mythical. Its strategic position made it a defensive haven in medieval times, while today it sits at the gateway to the Verdun Gorge, one of Europe's deepest canyons. Above the village, a gold star hangs suspended by chain, a mystery with centuries-old legends. Set along the Dordogne River and framed by woods and meadows, Korenik seems lifted from a storybook. Its heart is built around the Romanesque church of Saint Pierre and a former priory. Once a quiet retreat, it gained renown when writers and travelers rediscovered its beauty and timeless peace in the 20th century. Altia rises above Spain's eastern coastline in Alicante province, with its whitewashed homes gleaming beneath the sun. Winding, sloped streets and stepped alleys reflect its Moorish past, while the crown jewel is the blue tiled dome of the Church of Our Lady of Consolation. From its heights, sweeping sea views unfold across the Mediterranean. Balanced atop a cliff in Catalonia, Sierrana overlooks the Montsant and paved mountain ranges. After the 12th century Christian reconquest, it was transformed into a fortified village. Its cobbled streets, ruins, and panoramic views preserve the quiet strength of a place once on the frontier between worlds. High on a rocky outcrop, Guadalupe surveys a turquoise reservoir below. Its medieval passageways weave through cliffs and open onto panoramic balconies. The Arab-built castle of San Jose, later rebuilt by Christians, remains the village's crown. You enter it through a tunnel carved directly into the mountain, like passing through time. Set within a natural park, Alquezar rests on a hilltop once fortified by the Moors. Its name comes from the Arabic Al-Quaysar, meaning fortress, a legacy reflected in its commanding position. Seized in the 11th century by King Sancho of Aragon, it was transformed into a Christian stronghold. Today, it offers a blend of natural beauty and fortified heritage. Famed for its medieval walled old town, Tossa de Mar sits beside tranquil coves and beaches with clear blue water. Pine-covered cliffs frame the scene, creating a classic Mediterranean panorama. In 1951, the village found fame on the silver screen, with Ava Gardner starring in Pandora and The Flying Dutchman, filmed right on its shores. Tucked into a remote valley near the French border, Biguet is surrounded by dense forests and rugged Pyrenean terrain. Reaching it requires navigating narrow, winding roads that only enhance its sense of seclusion. Traditional stone houses and Romanesque bridges reflect a way of life shaped by isolation and mountain resilience. Clinging to the Serra do Acer Mountains, Kyoto is a labyrinth of slate houses stacked against steep hillsides. Blue painted doors and window frames brighten the otherwise shadowy tones of stone. At its heart stands a stark white parish church, a beacon amid the dark folds of the landscape. Riglos rests in the shadow of the Malos de Riglos, towering red rock formations sculpted by erosion over millions of years. These vertical walls attract climbers from around the world. The village, dwarfed by its surreal backdrop, feels almost like a speck in a prehistoric landscape of stone. In central Switzerland, the village of Lungern rests quietly on the turquoise shores of Lake Lungern. Surrounded by forested hills and alpine peaks, the village thrives on farming, livestock, and tourism. With spring-fed waters and tranquil scenery, it's a place where nature, tradition, and peace meet. Set in the Terek River Valley, the village lies beneath the towering presence of Mount Kazbek, one of the tallest peaks in the Caucasus. Though small, it has become a key stop for travelers journeying along the Georgian military road. Local mythology links Mount Kazbek to the legend of Amirani, George's Prometheus, punished for stealing fire from the gods. Giurgeti Trinity Church stands on a high plateau overlooking the town. Dating back to the 13th to 14th centuries, it features traditional Georgian architecture with a cross and square layout in a central dome. Many travelers choose to stay here for easy access to the trails that lead to the historic monasteries. Located on an isthmus connecting the Assos Peninsula to the main body of Kefalonia. Its harbor rests in a sheltered bay, flanked by cliffs, offering calm waters and natural protection. Found in the state of Hidalgo, nestled between the Pachuca Range and dense woodlands. Enclosed by pine and oak-covered mountains, the weather tends to be cool and misty. By the 16th century, it had grown into a mining hub focused on extracting silver and other metals. Positioned at the foot of Großglockner, the tallest peak in Austria. According to legend, a Danish prince brought a relic here in the early 10th century that held drops of Christ's blood. Inspired by this tale, the Church of St. Vincent was built to enshrine the sacred relic. Perched in the Bregaglia Valley, near the Italian border, Italian painter Giovanni Segantini called it the gateway to paradise for the peacefulness and sublime beauty it offered. The steep slope from the valley floor to the peaks creates tiered natural viewpoints at various levels. developed around a castle built in the late 12th century by the Count of Nassau. Timber-framed houses and cobbled lanes preserve the rural and feudal character of Hesse. The surrounding area is dotted with forests and rolling hills, crossed by scenic hiking trails. Located on the Adriatic coast, known for its strong Venetian architectural influence. The main square is lined with historic buildings and features a statue of Giuseppe Tartini, the renowned violinist born in town. From the old fortress walls, you can take in sweeping views of the Adriatic Sea and the Piran Peninsula. At the town's highest point, the Baroque-style church of St. George stands watch. These historic homes are neatly lined up, painted in striking black and white tones. After a devastating fire in 1666, the town was rebuilt with a grid layout, an uncommon feature in medieval centers. It stands out from other villages with similar plans due to the near-perfect uniformity of its blocks. Nestled at the base of the Tatra Mountains, it's Poland's leading winter sports destination. The region has long been home to highland dwellers, particularly the Górale, an ethnic group with its own customs and attire. Pine forests cover the area, along with alpine rivers and glacial lakes. Celebrated for its charming houses and Renaissance-inspired chateau, the historic center is anchored by a rectangular square bordered by homes with large, elegant arcades. Recognized for its traditional homes arranged in rows beside the waterways. Originally developed as a port for exporting peat, it borders Weiribben-Weiden National Park, one of the largest wetland areas in Western Europe. The marshy terrain was shaped over centuries by peat harvesting and human intervention. With a strong Italian influence, it features cobblestone streets, red brick houses, and wooden balconies. For centuries, it thrived as a key trade center on the Silk Road and a hub for wine production. Orthodox churches with slender towers and tiled rooftops rise across the skyline. Located in the country's southeast, with castle ruins towering over the town. Legend tells of a ghostly princess named Berthe who roams the fortress on certain nights. The Orthe River runs through the village, with riverside paths designed for strolling. Tucked into a mountainous region, it shares the charm of an alpine village. The nearby Bajor and Lepenica lakes, both man-made, sit peacefully beside the town. Fuzine is well known for celebrating New Year at noon on December 31st, a unique tradition that draws many visitors. A riverside town framed by dramatic karst landscapes. Lush, forested peaks surround the area, creating a breathtaking setting. Human presence along the Nam-O River spans centuries, thanks to fertile soils and navigable waters. Monsoon rains nourish the landscape, supporting towering trees, bamboo groves, and scattered farmland. Its red-hued terrain and terraced fields leave a lasting impression. Iron oxides in the soil oxidize over time, giving the land its striking orange-red color. According to local legend, gods colored the earth to mark the most fertile plots for farmers. Nestled along the western edge of Lake Hallstatter Sea, Hallstatt looks like it was imagined in a dream. The lake glows with shades of turquoise and emerald, bordered by towering alpine mountains. Rich salt deposits in the nearby hills helped the village thrive thousands of years ago, shaping its early prosperity. Because the valley is narrow and cliffs rise steeply around it, homes had to be creatively built into every bit of available space. They seem to hug the mountainside, packed tightly between rock and water. Hallstatt's skyline is marked by its iconic evangelical church with its pointed steeple, and just above it, a Catholic church framed by historic stone buildings. Most houses here are made from timber and stone, painted in soft colors, and topped with sharply pitched roofs that help them shed snow during heavy winters. Behind the village, the Mulbach stream tumbles down the cliffs, forming a waterfall that winds its way through town before joining the lake. Nicknamed the City of Beautiful Towers, San Gimignano's skyline rises with 14 medieval towers, remnants of the 72 that once stood as symbols of power and prestige. Often called the medieval Manhattan, the town thrived on saffron trade in the Middle Ages, leaving a legacy of prosperity etched into stone. Spanning a narrow peninsula into Lake Garda, Sirmione is famed for its Scaligero Castle, built in the 13th and 14th centuries. Its moat and fortress walls give the town a fairy-tale appearance. Some historians believe Dante Alighieri visited during exile, captivated by its beauty and strategic location. High in the mountains of Flores Island, Huayribo is known for its dramatic setting and traditional Embaru Nayang conical houses with soaring thatched roofs. According to local legend, the village's ancestors arrived centuries ago in search of fertile soil and clean springs. Today, 7 of these iconic clan houses remain, and if one is ever lost, the community rebuilds it, preserving the sacred balance of the village.